Greatest common factors and factoring by grouping. So when we look at a series of terms, in this case 21x cubed, 9x squared, and 15x, we can see that they all have an x, but numerically each of these numbers, these coefficients, also can be written in terms of a common factor. By a common factor, what we mean is 21x cubed can be written as 3 times 7 x times x times x. 9x squared can be written as 3 times 3 times x times x. And 15x can be written as 3 times 5 times x. If we look at these, what do they all have in common? Well, they all have a 3, and they all have an x multiplied together. So the common factor is 3x. If we're looking at two terms that are connected by an addition or subtraction sign, we can do the exact same thing. We can think of the 25 as a 5 times 5. We can see that both of these terms have a 5 in them. They both have an x squared. So we could think of it writing this way: 5 times x squared times x minus 5 times 5 times x squared. They both have a 5x squared, and we can say we factor that out, which leaves us with an x and a minus 5. What we are doing is we are undoing distribution, or distributive property. That is what factoring is. It's undoing the distributive property. In this case, we can write our 8 as 2 times 4, our 10 as 2 times 5, and our 12 as 2 times 6. Each of these terms has an x. Each of these terms has a y. We have 2's. 2xy will leave us with a 4x squared, the y is here, a 5xy plus a 6y squared. Here we can think of this as a 4 times a negative 1, as a 4 times 9, and as a 4 times a negative 2. What that will leave us with is 4 times negative 1, but we also have an a in each term. So that leaves us with an a squared, a negative 9a, and a negative 2. Or we could think of it as a negative 4 times 1, a negative 4 times 9, and a negative 4 times 2, which would be a negative 4a, 1a squared, plus 9a plus 2. Both of those are ways of finding a common factor in this case. We have this. What do we see in common? Well, in fact, we see that each of these two terms has a y plus 7 in them. So we can then factor that out, and that will leave us with a 3y and a minus 4.